going here and getting here, because you're not used to this. I thought I'd just set up as I go. Yes. Apparently when I was outside, the kitties knocked off this device because they do that kind of shit. Because at the beginning of these streams, while I wait on people, since this is a tiny, tiny niche channel. Hello, Smelly. Well, good. I'm gonna put up some music anyway, and that's what I needed first. A player. My brain is lost. I just came in from outside and realized I was about 20 minutes behind. Hello, Ronnie. Hello, Leonard. So yes, I realized I was about 20 minutes behind my schedule. So I just went ahead and hit start, considering I did tell everyone I was going to be early. So I'm going to gather myself and we'll listen to some music, because this is how we're going to begin our program. Hopefully we're not ads next time. And I will get my other device up and chat up to where I'm not doing this. Yes, Cheez-It Snack. Come here. And then I will get chat up. And this thing takes forever. Ever. Waiting. Well, this is unique. So you know what, this is what I'm going to do later. Now, well, it looks like we got most people in here, so, you know, play a couple songs, and then we'll get down to gaming business. And thank you for knocking my tray off. I had pizza breads earlier, and it decided to investigate the fish. Thank you, I see you. Thank you. Come here, Barney. Let's get the cat thing over this too. Music and city off the same track. We have to do that until she wants to look up. It's the ritual. Oh shit, here's the Selma. Selma, come on, Selma. I know you want to. Stop. She's looking around. Did she get something I didn't? No, she didn't. She only knocked off the tray. She's like, the tray's in the floor. That means she must have got something. No, it doesn't, Summer. It means she knocked it off. Summer thinks I'm pulling something over on her. Summer, do you not trust me? She says, no, not when it comes to food. I don't trust anyone. I just realized that about my cat. Summer trusts me in every way but with food. Who knew? Well, what I have to say is unimportant. when I start off here, the main interest in the beginning is me getting organized in music and letting people get in. And Wednesdays and Saturdays are going to be my hard time. And, I expected Nicolina to go on later, so, she'll just go on without me because I have to worry about my gig and not run my life around everybody else. This is really a different forum in YouTube, and we're in a different place. And if anyone wanted to go over there, they're more than welcome to. It's just, we're going to be doing our thing here. Yes, we are. Now, I will go ahead and not play the other song, and we'll just go ahead and get into it. Now, I have worked for a lot of things, and we are going to have a sample example of gameplay later on, and we are going to talk about things. Well, Smelly, remember our last game? We talked about how did you guys want there to be parallel stuff? And then I made a joke about the one character, and you guys liked the idea. Well, I've been doing some work on that. And I created that fellow, and I created a bunch of different other things. I even reimagined the Spider-Man scenario. Because, think about it. A guy gets spider powers from a radioactive spider, and everything looks normal. I mean, I really don't think that's right. Just saying. So like I said, I've created a bunch of characters, and our campaign binder is here. And one of the things that I'm going to do is content on this station, rather than me doing long elaborate things. The supervillains I'm creating, I'm going to turn their origin stories into little talkie videos. Where I'm giving you commentary on a supervillain and how they got their superpowers. So I thought that would be a little bit of extra niche content that would be fun, and it wouldn't take me long to do. And rather than doing the presentation on the live, I'd just clean myself up and worry about my words, not use over amount of euphemisms or shortcut words, because like Smelly and I have known each other long enough to where we can shorthand most conversations and, not really say much. So yes, I have been working on that, and I had a thought. Because we talked about parallels, I thought about gods. And I have sat for over a week deciding about a pantheon of gods. And last night I decided a brand new one. That way I'm not rubbing anyone's nose wrong. There's no competition. Well, you're ignoring these people. I'm going to make new gods for our new world. And I came up with the outline for a bunch of them. The pantheon that we would create in modern day. Like Vegas, the god of chance. Now there is going to be some classic things like Luna, the god of night. As a species, we still have an affinity for night life. It's just, unlike what would be an ancient Luna, ours would be more of a party girl goddess. Because in reality, we do worship things in our own way, even though we don't call them gods. And in ways, in ancient times, this is how many times gods got to start. The club girl, Luna would be their patron deity. Also, if you're a thief or a night dweller, that patron god. Now, another one of them is going to be Mr. Cash. He's the god of wealth and business. Now, there's also another one, Mechanos, the god of metal and technology. And you may sound like, how do we worship him? Look at those skyscrapers. Those aren't natural. Those are obviously monuments to some strange being that we have not gave a name to. And that is Mechanos. And he is a cold, unfeeling god. Well, I don't watch TV, but I create my... See, I guess that's one good thing about me not watching TV, is I'm not ripping off of anything else. Now, once again, I am ripping off some... Now, I say that... Now, this is hypocrisy. I mean, if you want to lay it down, I just said that, and my next word's going to sound pretty damn hypocritic, but it is parody. Now, once again, we're ripping off some ideas for characters. And I thought, what to do about Deadpool? And then I listened to the news, and there was Tim Pool, and he was saying stupid things, and rather than the news, he was talking about himself, which is not what I clicked on the video for. So, rather than Tim Pool or Deadpool, we have Darkpool. And Darkpool is nothing more than an annoying reporter in a superhero outfit that goes around and gets himself in trouble and you in trouble. Now, I did give him his own supervillain that hunts him named Black Flag. So, in a way, he will be a reoccurring annoyance for the characters, and someone at some time or another is going to really hope that someone splatters them. Now, in a way, he's like an original Champions character. They had a male version of Lois Lane, and in about every campaign, at some point, he gets crippled and retired. Because if it's between hitting the supervillain and saving the stupid reporter for the 18th time... Now, see, this is where Superman's dedicated. You know, in reality, you know, somewhere after that dozenth time, you just ignore him and do your thing. Now, Superman, he never does that. He always saves Lois Lane. But you'd think at, you know, some point, he'd just like let her get her smeared. Now, do you have any questions? And Smelly, I did write up your nemesis. Now, his super name is Trophy Hunter, but I'm going to give him another name too. Probably Bawana. But that's just between us. And I've got most everyone's nemesis wrote up. Now, Nicolina's not been here to finish her character, but I figured she would be a part-time character. Anyway, because in reality with her power set, it will unbalance gameplay at times. But once again, since she doesn't have to be here every time, you know, I can just save scenarios that she would unbalance for days that she's not here. So, it's a win-win for us. Now, Pindar's probably over there, but the funny thing is I went early because Nicolina was supposed to go live, but she may just be streaming someone else. I don't know. You know, the girl does her. But this is our little hideaway from it all, and because of the way everyone else goes lives, you know, I plan on 8 p.m. on Wednesday Eastern Time, being irregular. Now, like I said, I can start early, though, on Wednesdays, like today. You know, that's a no problem. And you being West Coast, if you have time issues, that's what you and I will do, Smelly. You know, because I can always start earlier here. And also, this tablet, the light quality is and stuff is shit on it. It does have a longer battery life. And the channel we're on is on this device and the one that we're using. Well, like I say, I only started early tonight because Nicolina yesterday said we'll all be back at 9 o'clock tomorrow night. So I thought I'd better get my live in before 9 o'clock, and that way the other players could be here too. But, you know, she's a girl, you're a girl, you do your thing. I'm not going to poo-poo on it. It's just, you know, I'm going to keep my schedule here. Even if I'm sitting here by myself, I'm going to keep my schedule. Because I can always sit here and write up characters on the stream and talk to the cat. But, you know, this channel was never meant to be tons. Now, I have your character over here. Now, Smelly, we got to get serious now. You've not ever figured out why you turn into a kitty girl or a kitty boy. I never asked that. Are you a boy kitty or a girl kitty? I'm not lifting your tail and checking, just saying. You're going to have to tell me because, you know, I don't want to get scratched. Okay, so you're a girl kitty. That'll work good. Because I'd hate to lift your tail and you know, be a dude kitty, and it's like, dude, why are you looking at my balls? Sorry, Mr. Kitty. Let me put that tail right down there. Yeah, 'cause that would be awkward. Just saying. Now see, that's the thing about gaming. Sometimes you'll say something funny and silly, and it will just be like a Jedi mind wipe. Who am I? But yes, oh yes, how did you get your powers? Now, there are werecats. They're referred to as an Aloranthrope. You know how you have lycanthropes, which is a werewolf? An Aloranthrope is a human that has a lycanthropy that turns you into a cat. Okay, so that in reality, that means you're kind of a mystic-based. Now, is it a family curse? Or did someone curse you in particular? No to which? Okay, but that'll be great, because that will actually work in. Because, well, shit. Once again, I was supposed to be here a little earlier, but I have write-ups here for other were creatures. And, I'm thinking silly shit. You'll have to hold on. Matter of fact, it's something I could type to you, but I can't say because it's against terms of service. Well, where is it? Well, hell, I can't find it. But I've got several kinds of were creatures in this, and once again, that will actually create, you know how Batman has their own villains? That means you'll have several different were people that you can fight. And one of them's a were tiger. And then another one of them is going to be a werewolf. And then, you know how Spider-Man is? You know, at some point, you know, all of Spider-Man's enemies come together because they're sick to hell of the little bastard. And that's what I'll do with them. You know, you'll fight each of these were people on your own, and then eventually they'll form their own little team and be out to get Kitty Girl. And then that will be, like when we do our personal scenarios, I'll probably do that. You'll face them individually, then at some point they'll all come back as a team, and then your little group will fight their little group. So yes, technically you're a werecat, and I'm about to get were-kittened over here. You're 1 year old now. You're not a total baby. You're a big baby. Oh yes. I gave her wet food in summer a little while ago, and gave Summer catnip so she'd sleep it off, and unfortunately this thing, it never stops. It got disciplined for the first time in its life. It started eating on the phone cord. Yes, it got its first taste of getting a serious yell at. And she's like, what? What? Why are you yelling at me? And what is this stop thing? Because normally I can tell her no and stop, and she never does. Honey, see what sucks is I'm actually kind of about ready now to do that gameplay sample, but I can't roll dice with her here. Now, in the future, when we play, unfortunately the kitties will have to be kept outside. Yes, they will have to be kept outside of this room, as they will be quite disruptive and we wouldn't get anything done. So, enjoy this while you can, Richella. Because Sunday night is gameplay. And you and your mother get to cry at the door. And then I get to say, Adrastia, is that you? I will too. Then I laugh. So like I said, you better enjoy this. Now, do you have any questions, Smelly? Anything at all? And we're just going to I'm going to run through an example of gameplay. Basically. And since you're here, I'm going to use your character. That's why I didn't pre-plan that, because I was going to do whoever's character was here. So think about a question for a minute, and if anybody else has any questions, well, Smelly, it looks like you and I are here alone, so it's just me and you. Well, that's cool. Everybody else went off, so I mean, grab your pipe and grab your drink, and well, yeah, we're going to kind of playing in the beginning. You know, and that's how we're going to do it for the first couple Sundays. Oh, hello, Ronnie. Well, my thing over here says only one person's in chat, but many times this person is wrong. Well, she's a kitty girl, and oh God, you know, once again, there's sometimes, like the modern world, I have to take your character into account. You know how many stalkers you're going to have, Smelly? You know how many anime freaks there are and furries that are... See, 30 years ago, you wouldn't have had people running around treating, you know, a Catwoman as a sex object. But, you know, in the last 30 years, our world has changed. And not for the better. Now, remember to punch these normals and not use your claws. You know, there's just a game tip right there. Not unless you want to be like on the FBI's top 100 list. Because there's at times a character, you know, might want to be on the top 100 list. Just saying. So I have to laugh about it all, and I have wrote up a few YouTube things. I made a parody of Ernie Shell, and I made a parody of Jimbo. You know, everybody calls him a thumb or a toe. No, it was a toe. Yeah, so I made him Dr. Toe. You remember how Bond had Dr. No? We have Dr. Toe. Well, yeah, and I also did write up some superheroes. You know, I took some versions of some people. It's like Daredevil is a blind hero with sonar. But I made a blind flying hero with sonar and named him Aerobat. And he's pretty much like Daredevil, but instead of using a billy club and swinging around, he just flies around because that's his power. And he has the same kind of sonar ability that Daredevil has. Now, in reimagining Spider-Man, I thought him and his girlfriend. Well, his girlfriend is the one that got bit by the radioactive spider and not Peter Parker type. Once again, they're not Peter Parker and they're not Mary Jane, but you know, I use this as an analogy, as a parallel. And the girl got bit and became a 8-armed Spider Woman. And now this is a cool thing. She's a menace to the world. 'Cause Smelly, a spider, as you know, has 1,000 to 2,000 eggs a year. You know, this is going to be a supervillain that's main goal is to breed. And her name is Letitia. Well, just between me and you. You know, your characters don't know that. But yes, Letitia the Spider Queen is going to try to make an entire little race of spiderlings. And as you know, this could quickly overwhelm the planet. Because if you don't kill them all before, you know, she has her eggs, and in these eggs hatch, you know, you could end up with 1,000, and 500 of them are going to breed and have another 500. So that's the thing. Now, the Peter Parker character, Peter Parker was always super intelligence. So I made him Dr. Arachnid, to where he actually has a suit. So he's more like an Iron Man Reed Richards style character, and his main goal, of course, is to stop his girlfriend from destroying the world using her coochie. Once again, interesting adult themes. So, you know, Letitia the Spider Queen is going to every year have we're being attacked by Kitty again, the compulsion to breed. And once again, there's going to be the moral dilemma. And also there's a possibility of origins of what if you save one of the eggs and you raise them right and you say sex is bad, 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 bad. You know, it could be an origin for, you know, a new person in your supergroup of some kind. You know, I'm being a little silly with that, but once again, we're creating a campaign world, and we don't know what's going to happen in the world. It will be reflected in gameplay. It will be reflected in your decisions. It's like one of my players one time, he was fighting the mutant hunting giant robots. He had magic powers, so he went back in time to, you know, to change history to end the mutant hunting robots. And then he went back to his regular time, and then he found out that the mutant hunting robots were now government robots, and that the entire world was one big giant authoritarian dictatorship that giant robots were the enforcer arm of. Then he had to go back and change that. And then he made another change, and then he came back, and it was a giant wasteland ruled by giant robots that were out to kill all mankind and not just mutants. So once again, he went back and changed it, and eventually he decided, I'll just stick with the giant mutant hunting robots. So at the end of the giant adventure, he put everything back just the way he found it. But, you know, I'm just giving you an example of, you know, how your decisions will affect the game world. And once again, you know, we played for hours, you know, maybe 4 more hours, had a really good time, and when all was said and done, the player put everything back the way it was and decided, okay, we'll just destroy them the old-fashioned way, one at a time. Because no matter what they did, they made the situation worse. Now, once again, Pindar has a pull, and she comes from another dimension. And she has enough, just enough, to perform time travel. So that's another reason, Smelly, because, you know, you're a thinker, so, you know, that's why I'm telling you this now, because somewhere at some time in gameplay, you know, it is very likely that, you know, you will decide that we are going to do the time travel thing. Now, I am going to make you a villain, because, you know, the Avengers had their Ultron, but I'm going to cross Ultron and Skynet, and they are going to be sending back Terminator-style robots to kill you at the beginning of your career. And of course, you're not going to know why that there's strange robots appearing through time to kill you. So, you know, that's another way that I know that time will happen. So, you know, this is going to be just a part of our gameplay. You know, kind of, well, maybe. The great thing is you can have anything you want. Because that is the great thing about this game, is your character customization is infinite. And many times you use disadvantages, you know, to create the unique characters. And I was sitting here thinking about some of the stuff I had created a little while ago, but I thought, nah, better not, because I'll start to get esoteric. Now, Summer's right behind us, and that's why I'm not getting into anything, because I'm waiting for her to knock over everything. They're both. You know, that tray in the floor, you heard Rachilla knock it over. Summer knows that I gave Kat something. I didn't. She just knocked the tray in the floor. But the tray in the floor, there has to be. And Summer cannot conceive of anything else. And she's all going around and investigating everything, trying to find what doesn't exist. And we will get further into this as soon as my cat figures out that she's crazy. But like I say, Rachella's the one that knocked it over, but Summer knows a tray in the floor means there's something to be had. And normally, she'd smell what it was, but there was nothing there. I had pizza breads. You know, there's nothing there for a kitty. The pizza breads are in my belly. The tray is in the floor. Richella is sitting where the tray used to be. Normal cat stuff. I'll pick up the tray when the stream is over. But she's just absolutely sure. We're going to play in chat. Because I don't have the ability to panel. But it's not going to be hard because, like, for example, you don't need to know much. The characters are pretty simple. And where is yours? Okay, now put yours in the book. This is the villains. And once again, damn it, hi, Roger. Okay, Roger's high, and he set your character in. Okay, here's where you set your character. Damn it, he's high. The gods were on top of you, Smelly. I don't know if that's good or bad. But yes, your powers are simple. You can shapeshift. And what I'll do later is like on Twitter, I'll DM you your abilities. Well, in reality, if someone else can host a panel, we can do that. Because I can run the game as a guest. But yes, if anyone can host a panel, we can play as a panel just on their channel. And that would be fun. Now, like I say, you have pretty simple powers. You know, they're pretty logical. You shapeshift from a human being into your kitty form. That costs 20 points. You have retractable claws that can, well, put it this way. If you hit with maximum damage, you will put a person to dying in one swipe. You have stealth. So, you know, if you want to sneak, it's a stealth roll. You have breakfall. So, you know, we can throw you out of a plane, and if you make a breakfall roll, you're going to live. Once more, this is a superhero world. Remember when Spider-Man always takes those falls, but, you know, something stops him, he grabs onto something, or webs himself up at the last time? That's a breakfall. You're a kitty, you have concealment. And those are skills. Now, you also have discriminatory smell. That means you can, and you also have tracking scent. So you can smell the air and know everything around you. And on your discriminatory smell roll, you can tell what it is. Like Wolverine, for example. You hear someone from around the corner. Wolverine sniffs with his discriminatory smell. Wolverine smells gun oil. So that way, Wolverine knows from around the corner, those men are men with guns. So Wolverine understands what he's facing, and you can do that. Now, you also have tracking scent. So once again, like that man, you know, you defeat them and one of them runs off, you could use your tracking scent with your discriminatory smell, make both of those rolls, and you can be the kitty Terminator. At that point, you're a bloodhound. And you have super leap. You know, tall buildings in a single bound. And, let me see, what was the... Wow. I was generous. Apparently, you can jump about 240 feet. Yes, apparently, you can... Your best leap could go from the goal line to the other side's 20. And I reduced your endurance on your strength. And the first thing we wanted to buy you was martial arts. You know, to up your attack. You have a 25 strength, which is slightly stronger by 5 points than Arnold Schwarzenegger or a big lifter. You can lift a motorcycle over your head. You can pretty much swing on normals and break bones. to kind of give you your, yes. And compared to a normal human, normal human speed is 2. Yours is 5. That means for everything that a normal person could do, you get to do 5 times. Or for every 2, a normal person would do. Like, say, the normal thug is shooting at you. He'll get to go twice, and then that time you'll get to go 5 times. Which the normal thug, you go before he does, so it's not really likely he's ever going to get to go. Now, once again, if they're a group of, how Spider-Man always fights the thugs in the comic book? That first thug, he's your victim. He's just getting his ass whipped. Now, also, like with your strength, you could just reach out and take the gun from them, because the gun is a focus. Remember how we bought certain things for certain people cheaper as an object? That's why it's cheaper. Because if someone brings a gun or something on the field, you can just take it from them. Or you can use those claws of yours and hit that object. And I guarantee, unless it's a really, I can't put it this way. Can't think of anything off my head gun-wise that you probably wouldn't fuck up by hitting it with your claws. Well, Smelly, you're going to have to buy the Manus. Now, Pindar's character, fuck you, well, that character comes from a world with the insects. So that's going to be a part of your character development. You're going to have to buy your martial arts, then we buy your bug. So your first 25 points is going to have to go for your martial arts, and then after that, we save up for your bug. Well, everyone has stuff they need. Now it's like Rachel, she needs a force field. Just saying. And Pindar needs a lot. Because Pindar, being an alien, should have a bunch of alien skills. But yes, it will come because I have to have an origin. But we've already talked in her world, the main dominant lives are going to be reptilian, lizard types, and bugs. Because one of her people's enemies are going to be insect people. Humanoids like us. And there's also going to be large giant manuses. And once again, those are going to be horses in their world. So, you'll get your own loyal bug through her. But what you'll probably do is go to their world and get it. Oh, yes, I forgot. You wanted Hunted by Carlos the Jackal. No, that's what we made your... I forgot. I had already gave your guy a name. Yes, I forgot. We named your the trophy hunter Carlos the Jackal. I remember now. Oh, yes. I had to... For looking up gameplay, you're also hunted by a cat club. You remember how those annoying people that like furry stuff? Yes, you're hunted by a cat club, so every now and then you may have a normal showing up clicking pictures of you to sell or put on a site or, Now, I'm going to hit this pipe a few times. I'm going to wet my mouth, and then I'm going to pull the characters out. Summer has now walked in the other room, and we will do a short example of gameplay, and I will use Carlos the Jackal, the trophy hunter, and you in an example of gameplay. But in reality, because of your powers, your main attacks is going to be punching people, or hitting them with your claws, or kicking them. You're kind of, fighting-wise, you're much like Wolverine, really. Really cross Wolverine and Spider-Man, and, that's kind of your range. When you want to put yourself into context, in a way you're like Spider-Man with your quick agility, but, your claws give you that Wolverine option. And where you don't have like a spider sense that Spider-Man has, you got the nose of Wolverine, and you can do all those fun little tracky things. Now, another good thing too, since you did pick a were creature, you can buy regeneration. Remember how you were worried about bullets? You remember how werewolves do? Well, see, that's what you're going to be. You know, you will be vulnerable to, well, we didn't buy it, but so we don't have to make it a vulnerability. But, you know, silver, it would be your nemesis, being a were creature. But, you know, we're not telling everyone. But also, you can also, now this will be cool. You can buy this in the future, because since you're aware, you could buy a bite and make someone else into a were. Because you know how werewolves have that ability? In fact, I could probably do that for 10 points. Yes, for 10 points, a 1 pip, 1 body bite with a 1 pip cumulative transformation attack that over time would turn them into a werecat. So like I said, because that's why I had to have you nail down what you wanted, because that will affect your character development. And because werewolves and stuff regenerate, you know, that bite and regeneration would be 2 natural things that you should develop. And that way, in reality, you could even become a pack mom. You know how werewolves have packs? You know, you could have your own kitty colony. Well, I'm just giving you examples. Well, see, once again, that's the fun is, you got 3 things you want. You know, you want your bug, and you want to be able to bite people. Like I say, these are things that we will develop on your character, and you get to pick what you want first. You know, when you want to spend your experience points. And like on a typical adventure night, you're going to get about 3 to 5 points. Unless you guys mess everything up on an epic scale, typically on a night you will get 3 to 5 points. Well, that's possible. Remember what you said, you know, about how you are? That would fit into character. And this is where we use psychological advantages and disadvantages to create unique characters. Because given what you've put on your disadvantage sheet, well, that's something you would do. And maybe get some in trouble over. Now, I did write up some of your other world's heroes, like the one that I told you was like Daredevil, Aerobat, and once again, our Peter Parker is a scientist, Dr. Arachnid, and he's got a harness, and he fights kind of like, how would you put that? Imagine a backpack with arms. And he's got different abilities that he can do. So in a way, it created a unique thing with Letitia the Spider Queen and Dr. Arachnid. And they're also former lovers. He loves her, she loves him. But as a part of her disadvantage, she also loves everyone. And you know what she loves more than everyone? Laying eggs. So once again, every year, you know, if she's in custody, you know, they just destroy the eggs every year. But, you know, the problem's going to be is if you guys fail. Remember what we told you about the, you know, giant robots thing? You know, if you fail to stop her in a given year, you know, you could be living in a nightmare dystopia where everyone's being eaten by spider people. Now, once again, dice can be fickle. And when it's no fault of your own, that the dice are just Satan, that's when, as a game runner of the game, I might throw in a few random helpers. Because every now and then, I mean, I used to have a ton of dice. Why? Because the players would get so mad at times, those dice would go flying across the room. Now, if you roll a natural 3, which is a 1-1-1, you get double damage. But if you roll 3 6s, something bad happens. You remember, and sometimes the superhero is going along and then just everything goes to hell? That's you, when you roll 3 6s, that effect happens in Champions. Usually, somehow, your attack is applied back to yourself in some way or equivalent damage. So that's one of those ways that, through no fault of your own, a winning scenario could turn into a losing proposition. And once again, in a world-destroying scenario, if the dice are fucking you, that's where, as the guy running the game, I throw you a lifeline. And sometimes the game will fuck that lifeline, and then you have to throw him another lifeline. And in rare occasion, that if that fucks up, you go, "I'm God, shut up!" And that's how you settle it, but you don't say that to the players. Well, hello, Ellen. Well, yeah, we're going to tell a lot of stories. Now, the game we're playing now, we are going to tell stories, too, based on the adventures. And we're about to do a game example, because Smelly Sunday will be playing. Our regular game sessions start Sunday. So, this was kind of our pre-talk in, and we're getting ready to have an example of gameplay. And we only have to have 3 6-sided dice, which I do not have out because I did this completely unprepared. So, just saying. So, what we do first is take my mug and switch out that because I had you guys sitting on the thing of dice. Just saying. Now, normally I'm going to have the dice where you guys can see the rolls. But just to give the example of gameplay, I'm just going to roll them off to the side myself. And over here we have P.U. Roddenbottom. And I was just looking at, now I wrote Grimgoth up, and I was going to looking for your nemesis, and I passed Grimgoth, and I had to stop on him for just a second. And there fell my glass. But you didn't fall down, so, hey. Oh, I forgot this one. Now, you remember Bullseye. I made a version of him, and I called him Marksman. But, Bullseye's power, that anything he can make, he throws, he can make into a lethal weapon. And that's what this guy does. And his name is Marksman. There's Spider Queen. Well, where are you, Nemesis? Ah, here it is. Carlos the Jackal. And your character. Now, in combat, each turn is 12 phases. And each is about 6 seconds. So, in reality, what was it like? I think it was 5 seconds, yes. Each turn is 5 seconds. So in reality, one turn is a minute. And it's broken to 12 phases. And your speed is 1 to 12. Speeds never, normally statistics can go super high. But this is the only statistic that it stays a really low number, and it's 1 through 12. And that shows who goes first. You don't have to roll for initiative. By your speeds, it is already choreographed on who goes first. Now, P.U. Roddenbottom has a speed of 5. So that means out of the 12 phases, P.U. Roddenbottom will attack 5 times. So P.U. Roddenbottom is 2.5 times faster than a normal human being. Now, a human being through training can go only so far. And her nemesis, to be a viable opponent, is the human maximum. So this person is the equivalent of a Arnold Schwarzenegger in his prime. And Richella is coming to fuck everything up because that is what she does. Okay, so no one is going on first phase. No one is going on second phase. Now, on both characters have a third phase attack. But because P.U. Rottenbottom has a higher speed and dexterity, P.U. Rottenbottom goes first. Now, P.U. Rottenbottom has now just woke up on the wrong side of the bed. Now, once again, P.U. Rottenbottom, Carlos has stepped on her tail at one point, and she's pissed. So she's going to use her claws. And I'm going to roll this as soon as I get my... Now, you see why. Now, people on the Sundays going to say, why aren't the kitties here? This is why the kitties aren't here. Because as soon as I go to do anything, they want on the character sheets and to destroy anything. Stop. Don't move. Sit there. Don't think. Just get boneless. Yes, get boneless. I'll pet your head. I'm manipulating my kitty. Hold on. Yes, get boneless. Sit there. Don't move. Don't think. Yeah, she don't have a problem with that. Yes, don't think. Shit, she's thinking. Stop thinking! Says, I want to get on that paper. Yes, and you'll destroy characters that took hours and hours. Okay, everyone, hold on just for a moment. We're going to have to do this the Omega way. You're just going to have to be shut out of the room. I'm sorry. Apuri, I love you, honey. I hate to do this. I know you just came to be social, but none of this can be done with you. Okay, now, Richella has been ejected from the room, and we now may continue. I love her, but damn, she's a pain in my ass. Now, we were talking about this phase 3 shit. You know, you both have attacks on the same phase, but once again, Smelly has the higher speed and dexterity. So she is going to go first. Now, your attack is based on your dexterity. And it's divided your dexterity by 3, which gives Smelly an offensive number of 10. Well, you also have a defensive stat based on the same number. And Trophy Hunter, Carlos the Jackal, his is 7. So that gives Smelly a bonus roll of +3. Now, normally you hit on an 11 or less on 3 6-sided dice. Now, there is a 6, a 5, and a 2 rolled. Now, if Smelly had no bonus, Smelly missed. But there's been a roll of 13. A 6, a 5, and a 2. So, 3 is taken off of this roll. So Smelly rolled a 10. And a 10 is an 11 or less. And Smelly's killing attack, 8 body, and this was the extra roll. So, 9 body. Now, Smelly did not hit his body. Smelly did the attack of the gun. Now, Trophy Hunter is holding a shotgun. It was bought as a focus. Smelly has just destroyed Trophy Hunter's shotgun. So now Trophy Hunter, that shotgun is unusable for the rest of this combat. Yes, now Trophy Hunter, though, he has bought 2 ranged killing attacks. He has a pistol. So Trophy Hunter has his turn. And with his underhand, as you destroy his shotgun, or he pulls out a pistol and he tries to shoot the kitty. Now, once again, his offensive is 7. Your defensive stat is 10. That means he has a -3. So, I have rolled a 3, a 2, and a 1. And 3 is added to that number, which unfortunately, Smelly, makes a 9. The son of a bitch just shot you. And it's a killing attack. In a non-killing attack, you get your PD, your physical defense roll. But this is a killing attack. You don't get that. So unfortunately, that takes you straight to damage. He just did 4 of your 10 body. You just took a bullet wound. Now, unfortunately for him, you get to go. And now, you rolled with your claws again. You just destroyed his other gun. Now this was phase 5. He gets a phase 6 turn. But you have just destroyed his 2 guns. So now he pulls out a Bowie knife. And he swings at you with a -3. And he rolls a 14. So he rolled a 17. So, and you can only roll a maximum of an 18. So, I mean, he swung at you wide in just a horrible thing. Now, unfortunately for him, remember how we talked about that, the way the attacks fall? You now get 2 attacks. First thing you do with a +3 is you grab his hand. Your strength is much larger than his by 5 points. Now, oh shit. Ugh. Well, the dice just flew away, so I'll get another because I'm like damn prepared and shit. Damn dice want to roll away. So he rolled a 4 and you rolled a 5 because of the amount of strength. So you have now pulled that knife out of his hand and it is your attack. Again. Now, the thing is though, you have him by the hand, so you have actually grappled him. So he gets half his defensive. So his normal defense is a 7. We round it down to a 4. It's supposed to be 3.5, but at 3.5 it goes to a 4. This gives your next attack a +6 to hit with your claws. And you hit with a 7. And you did 9 body damage to him. And it also did 27 stun. That with the body damage. So you have majorly laid him open, but you see where you didn't take any appreciable stun because of the roll? He did. He took 27 stun. And 27 stun is higher than his 20 constitution. So that means he loses his next turn. So that means we're at 3, 5, 6. So yes, that means your character gets to go again before him. And because he's stunned, he has still got this negative defensive that you can exploit. Now, you rolled a 17. Now, fortunately for you, you had a +6. And that made it an 11. So that means despite the fact that this would have normally been a horrible attack, but because you have him grappled and he's at a wounded defensive being stunned, you got a +6 and that still hit him. So you did 9 more body for 18 body so far done to him. He has 2 body left. Now, that was 28 more stun. He is at 57 stun. He is bleeding, unconscious, with 2 major wounds. And Smelly has just defeated, in a lethal style combat, Carlos the Jackal. Now see, this is why we talked about the regeneration of, would be important, because each of these minute turns, you would gain, like you took 4 body. If you had 2 pips regeneration, which would cost 20 points, in 2 turns, which would be 2 minutes, you would be healed. Like Wolverine. Hello, Rachel. Well, Rachel, you will want to skip back, and we just got done having an example of gameplay. Well, I'm sorry you're feeling bad, Rachel. But, this will be posted. But, we just had a bit of gameplay. Now, if you're feeling a little bit better, I could actually reenact gameplay using your character. It depends on what you want to do. But it would, because of the way killing attacks are, that's why I did want Rachel to go back. Because she does have a killing attack herself, but she's not heavy killing attack dependent. Now, Smelly, until she gets her martial arts, she's going to be heavily dependent sometimes on that killing attack. It's just she's going to want to use it smart, not hard. Once again, if you get Iron Man, you're not going to take his guns away from him. His power armor is his guns. But, if you get someone like this Hunter, she can disarm him. And where you could have just did this in a different ways, but I wanted to do it this way because I wanted to show you example, especially you, Smelly, on how you can do you. Now, I'm surprised he shot you. Remember that -3 we talked about? He did get a lucky shot in on you. But yes, and that's how you would work. Now, you could, at that point, your character could have picked him up and bounced off with him. Remember what we talked about? Now, where we talked about how you can basically jump 80 yards? That's how you get around. You know how the Hulk jumped like the Hulk? As a kitty girl, you can bounce from 80 feet. You can go from top of building to top of building to top of building to top of building. Okay, we'll do that in just a moment. Because I've got to put her character up and get yours out. And here is Dragonfly. And under her is the prototype of Nicolina's character, which is basically just her power set. Okay. Okay. Well, Rachel, I'm ready when you are. So, just let me know when you're ready for the example of gameplay. Okay, Rachel, I have picked something understandable, because I thought about doing your nemesis, but, because of the way your powers counter each other, I thought I should go with something understandable. You remember how we created our mob boss for the city, which in this case is Don Tom, which in the criminal world they call Tommy. And he is just your typical boss thug. And over here's with you. Now, in combat, everything is done. There's no initiative in this. Everything is done by speed, dexterity, turns, and phases. Now, no one gets a speed over 10. A lot of times stats can go huge, but speed is always just 1 to 12. And that tells us who goes first. So, you have a speed of 5. Don Tom has a speed of 4. Now, all combat is done in 12 phases. A phase is 5 seconds. So in reality, one turn is 1 minute. In reality. Even though we're playing it out slow, things are happening pretty quick. Now, we will say as an example of Don Tom just went off and saw one of his rivals on the street and just broke out his auto-fire Tommy gun and just lit him up. And you were flying overhead. Now, you being Dragonfly have decided that you wish to engage Don Tom. Well, then we go to our combat rules. Don Tom, now, once again, let's say here, now, Don Tom has a 15 intelligence. So that means on a 12 or less, this is a perception roll. So he has rolled 3-2-2. So that means he sees you coming. Now, if he hadn't seen you coming, he would have got reduced defense. You remember, Smelly, how the last guy on you had a reduced defensive stat? You know, if you catch them by surprise, you can get that reduced stat. Smelly, you remember how you have stealth and concealment? You use those, and you can use those to gain surprise. Now, once again, Don Tom sees you coming, but your speed is higher than Don Tom's. Now, if you had the same speeds and the same dexterities, it's old-fashioned initiative time. Yes, if you run up with a character that is your exact opposite in speed and in dexterity, that is the only time you go to the old-fashioned initiative roll to see who goes first. So I'm just getting that out there right now. Because once again, normally you won't have initiative rolls. But every now and then, you will run across your perfect opposite, and in that case, you will have initiative rolls. And then I'll let you pick which dice you want the roll to be. Now, here, Dragonfly, she can shoot a light blast, she can shoot a killing attack, and she can shoot a flash. She can also dispel darkness, and she can also absorb light energy. Now, once again, I doubt the thug is going to be shooting much light energy at you. He's going to be shooting bullets. Now, Dragonfly here doesn't have any defense against bullets. And she really, really, really does not like to be shot. So what she's going to use is her flash attack. So, her offensive is based on her dexterity, which is a 7. And his defensive is a 7. You hit on an 11 or less. So, 4, 3, 3. A 10. So that means Dragonfly has flown and shot a beam of light into the face of Don Tom. And Don Tom is blinded. Don Tom wanted to take that machine gun and really unload on the pretty girl, but he can't. Now, he can shoot, but he can't see where he's doing. Now, once again, because Don Tom is an asshole, he goes to just spraying bullets. Now, he misses Caitlin. Now, fortunately, he missed everyone else too. Well, that's why I did this way. Because until you get that, remember how we talked about force field is your first thing? You know, until you get the force field, you know, when you run across someone and you're worried about getting killed, you use your flash attack. Because now he has such a reduced ability to hit you, it is, like I say, he'd have to get really lucky, put it that way. But he is so blind, at this point you can basically do what you want. And his defense is halved. So you would now get a +3 to hit him. And now, let's just say, now this isn't normally how it will go, but let's just say he shot your dog. And remember that killing attack we were talking about? Yes, he accidentally shot your dog, and you got very angry, and you just hit him with a modified 7. Okay, his armor worked, but you would have done 4 body to him and 12 stun. Now, he has 15 body, so that would have been a serious wound, as bad as taking a bullet. Now, this isn't what you did. I just wanted to give you an example of your killing attack. What you're going to use is your 10-die-6 energy blast, and this typically does stun. Now, for an example, his ED, his energy defense is 8. Now, you're going to get 10 dice, which could do 2 body to him, killing damage, unless his armor activates. Now, if his armor didn't activate, his mob suit, you would have cut him in half with that energy blast. But that's why I wanted to show you that, if you feel something has a defense, don't be worried about using that killing attack sometimes. But, you just shot him with a light blast at +3. And it's 10 dice. And I roll 10 times, and I count the stun. $38. Now, his PD, or his energy defense, is 8. So I take 8 off of that. So there's 30 stun left. Now, he gets his armor roll. He made it. And that's 10 off. So you did 20 stun to him. He has 36. So the character has 16 stun left until he's knocked out. Now, your light does knockback damage. And I have to roll this, and it's a 7. You had 10 dice, so that means you knocked him back 3 feet. And I just knocked off another damn dice again. And this is why, remember I said I'm going to have a special place to roll dice? This is why. Because now I have another one to pick up off the floor. And he will take a few stun if he don't make his armor roll. He made his armor roll, so he took no damage from the knockback. But like, say, example, the Hulk hits you with a 20 die 6, he could knock you back a football field. You remember in comic books when you see the guy going through buildings? That's what happens. It's called knockback. And in this case, Dragonfly's attack knocked the blinded mob boss back 3 feet. Now, because just between us, he's blinded for a turn and a half. You basically can unload on this guy. I mean, there's nothing he can do. And once again, remember, these are 5 seconds. So what you've done so far has only been 10 seconds. So we just shoot him again with the energy blast. And with the bonuses, we hit. Otherwise, it would have been a miss. 33, 25. He took 15 more stun, and now he is unconscious on the ground. Now, at phase 12, he can get a recovery of 8 points. So, once again, you're calling the police, and you see he starts to sit up. Now, unfortunately for him, he's still blinded for 5 more phases. So, as he's sitting up and you're on the phone with the police, you put your hand over and you shoot him with another blast of light energy. 32, 22, and he goes sprawling on the ground, unconscious, and the police come get Don Tom, and the press show up to shake your hand and get pictures of you, and then all the bullet holes along the wall that didn't hit anyone, they all, photograph them, and you get your name on the news, and you have a nice day, and you get a couple experience points. And that's an example of gameplay. So, Smelly just defeated Carlos the Jackal, and you just defeated Don Tom, which is going to be our local gangster boss. He is going to be our version of the Kingpin. Now, normally, of course, Don Tom would have all kinds of other little minions around him, for your friends to fight. But this is why I picked this game to start with. Because as you can see, it is very simple if you know what you're doing. You only have a handful of powers, so it's really easy on your end. Well, so's this guy. But as an example, your light blast hits with the force of a car hitting a human being at 50 miles an hour. So, look at it that way. Remember how you hit him with the 1 and you didn't knock him down? Yes, your first light blast hit him with the force of a car doing 50. And so did your second, and you put him down. And as you noticed, after a moment, he was getting back up, and you had to hit him again. So that was basically, if Rachel did the same thing, that would be her taking a car at 50 and hitting the guy 3 times. So once again, now isn't that what you would picture in a super world on fighting the Kingpin? He'd have to get mashed with a car at 50 a few times. And that's what you did. And of course you blinded him so he couldn't shoot you. But this game is scaled really well. That's another thing about it. It never became a popular game. But in reality, the system is amazing. And then eventually, for copyright and try to make money, they changed the system around and they basically killed their golden goose. But this is simple examples of our gameplay. And this is why this will fit in well into a 2-hour block. Because you will have a super villain, and you will do super things, and you will go on with your lives, and there will be a fight or two every night, usually. Sometimes it's going to depend on what you do. But in the beginning, a lot of it's going to be is you just basically getting used to your characters. Now, I am going to give you guys experience points for this gameplay. Even though you didn't, I am going to consider what happened is what happened. Now, like Smelly, she took body damage. Your recovery is 1/10 of it a week. So, let me see, 5, 11. So that means Smelly will recover from the bullet wound in about 2.5 weeks. And once she gets her regeneration, she'll recover in about 2.5 minutes rather than 2.5 weeks. Well, this was just it, kind of talking about it, and we've got our hard things done, and now we're just going to talk. Unless you guys have things to do, you can go and roll. But, I'm just going to sit here and bullshit about the game because other people are going to replay this. And I'm also going to use this stream as a reference point. When anyone asks me about gameplay, I'm going to refer them back to this stream as an example of gameplay. So anybody got any questions or anything you want to talk about? We'll hang out here just for a little bit longer and be fun, because this is what this is supposed to be, fun and social. And then if Nicolina's still on in a little bit, I'll head over there. Because, she may have just been streaming Jimbo, I didn't know. But yesterday she said she didn't plan her stream until 9 o'clock, so what time is it now? Yeah, it's only 7:30 now. Actually, I got through all that quicker than I thought. But yes, and once again, I tried to show you usefully how your character could work. Like right now, until you get a force field. Now, after you get a force field, your bullets will just be bouncing off you all day. And once again, when Smelly gets some regeneration, where that wound will heal in 2.5 weeks, it'll heal in 2.5 minutes. Once Smelly gets her regeneration. And Smelly, you get to pick what you want with your abilities first. Is it the Mantis? Is it the bite to turn the people into the were people? Is it to heal because you're tired of being shot? It's all going to be up to you. And once again, you guys will get a few experience points for this for your characters. Well, actually, Rachel, you can do a lot. Like your character eventually, you could turn yourself into light. Because there's an intangibility power, and that's something you could do in the future. You can create an energy force field using your light powers to protect you. Then, like I said, you could do the other, and you can even get faster than light travel. You could literally turn into light and fly in between the stars if you have enough points. And that's based on your minimum flight. Like, I think yours is 25, so if you were to buy just basic faster than light, you could travel 25 light years in a year. So like I said, your powers are going to, now once again, you can spin more and make that faster. But I'm just giving you a simple thing. And because you can turn yourself into light, you could buy life support. Like light, you could buy life support only while in light form. And that would only be like, well, first you would have to buy the intangibility. Be the ability to turn into light. But, after that, you could buy life support linked to that ability that you could go underwater when you were in light form or into space. So, that would be interesting things that you can do. Now, also, once again, your energy absorbing abilities, you'll want to put a lot more into those. Like when you have all the things that you want, eventually you'll up that energy absorption to where then anybody that's shooting a light-like beam or a solar-based attack or a laser, you're just going to make you stronger. So that's why I said when the character customization, you take your limitations and your disadvantages and make all of your powers unique to you. And so like I say, this is where I'm working on for people that, because I'm going to use this as a reference stream. Matter of fact, I'll probably save it as a gameplay example. So, that's basically our presentation. And now my NPC that I am going to be useful is going to be our Doctor Strangelike guy, the Hermit. He's got very little magical power, but a lot of knowledge. Now, unfortunately for you, he has a nemesis. Himself. Yes, because now this, I'm going to let you guys in and you're really going to like this. You're really going to like this. Marvel is going to do multiverse movies. So, I am going to do content in this also paralleling that. Because Marvel is getting ready to do, throughout a ton of movies, a multiverse scenario. Well, this is Hermit character. He is also going to be involved in our multiverse scenario. And the enemy is him. Yes, the him from your next door dimension became a necromancer. And he's going to invade your world. Now, one of the other things too, when they make the movies, I'm going to write the Marvel characters up because they're going to have Marvel characters going into different universes. So when they set the movie cast, I will write up the Marvel characters. And then in our own game, when you're doing your multiverse thing, I'm going to cross the two. So those will be the deleted parts of the movie that no one gets to see but us. So yes, that's another thing that I'm going to do. I've created my own multiverse scenario to where my multiverse scenario and the Marvels will cross. And then you will cross with the Marvel characters, heroes and villains, and you will get to play it out. And so that is a part of our campaign direction. And because I know Marvel's doing this, I am building this into our gameplay from the beginning. And because Pindar is a character from another dimension, that will help this all work out. And I created the Magus, or should I say, the Hermit and the Necromancer to be the diametric opposite of each other. And the Necromancer is much more powerful than the Hermit. It's just, he has issues. Lots of them. So that kind of gives you a basis of where we're starting. And of course, our technical-like robot monster that hates all of living beings is going to be sending back Terminators now and then to try to kill you because you're at your weakest now. So, they're going to try to kill you before you guys all get together. So, I'm sure that someone will see a Terminator this weekend. I don't know which one of you will be, but you know, I can say as a game operator that one of you is going to get attacked by a cyborg robot that talks like this. Yes. And don't name yourself Sarah Connor. Now, you can make your secret identity name whatever you want it to be, but I wouldn't do it Sarah Connor, just saying. So, you know, we will sometimes do silliness, and sometimes we will do super serious. So anybody got any questions before we get out of here? Because I can keep it at about an hour and a half, because like I said, I am going to use this as a reference tool. And that's why, even if no one was to show up here today, you know, I basically would have did the same thing. So we're all set for Sunday. And at Saturday. Fuck, I am so used to streaming on Sunday, I keep saying Sunday and I don't mean Sunday. On Saturday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I will be here and we will all be ready to play. So yes, Saturday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to say that 1,000 fucking times to myself after this stream and call myself an idiot about every third one. Remember that, you idiot! Saturday! See, that's kind of where I get Grimgoth. You know that part of you that yells at yourself? That's a part of Grimgoth. Why the hell did you do that? And that's a little bit of where a part of Grimgoth comes. He's that part of like, are you fucking stupid? You know, that annoyed with yourself thing, it's just, Grimgoth is annoyed with everyone else. So, yes, so 6 for you, and Smelly, we can schedule times. You know, if I'm not doing nothing and you're not doing nothing, you know, we can make impromptu game sessions anytime. So I'm going to get off here, and I will talk to you all later, because in reality, it's gotten hot in this room, and I really want to open the door, put up the game stuff, and then let in the little demons. So I will see you on Saturday night. Remember that! Good night.